When it comes to keeping a planted tank happy and healthy, there's two really important parts. Number one is the equipment you choose when you set up the tank, and number two is the way you maintain it. Today I'm going to walk you guys through the thought process on how I maintain my 30 centimeter cube behind me here. This tank has been set up for almost 4 months now, and it's been on cruise control. I've had no really big issues with it, no algae, none of that stuff, and I'm hoping to keep it that way. So today I'm going to walk you guys through how I do a big maintenance session to prevent these things in the future. Now, things haven't been completely perfect. There hasn't really been any algae in months, but one problem I have been having is nutrient deficiencies with my Bucephalandra, which I'll talk a little bit about how I plan to deal with later. The main thing I'm going to be doing today is trimming and replanting. Each time you trim a plant, it has the possibility to grow 2 new heads from a single cut. This allows your tank to get denser every trim if you slowly trim higher and higher after every trim. The problem is, after a while your plants will get so dense that the bottoms will no longer get light and start dying off. This can release nutrients for algae, but also affect the ability of the health of the heads of the plant to get the nutrients up from that dying stem. If the bottom's dying, the tops are slowly going to start dying too. So I'm going to be trimming things as close down to the substrate as possible and planting over them for all my stem plants in this tank. As I go, I set all my trimmings aside, and I'm going to replant things to basically start fresh over again. These stem plants had a really dense root system, and I don't want to disturb my substrate, so I'm going to leave them in there. It would make a huge mess if I remove them, and the bacteria is going to slowly break these stems down over time, making more nutrients that the new stems can use once they've developed their roots themselves. Now that all my stems are replanted, the next step is to take care of my Bucephalandra. This part, I'll be honest, I'm a little nervous about. Once Buce leaves start getting holes or deficiencies, you can't really save that leaf. It's always going to have the holes, it's not going to regrow, and the plant's going to put a lot of effort into trying to repair it. So it's best just to get rid of these. Now the problem is, the new growth is having these problems too. So today I'm just going to be chopping off the heads, going in and trimming off any old growth as well, and hoping things grow back eventually. Maybe with the thinned out stem plants there's going to be more nutrients available and they'll have no problem growing back after a little bit. These next steps I do every single week. I drain roughly 20% of the water. I have Caridina shrimp, so it is a pretty small amount. They're pretty sensitive, so I don't want to disturb them too much. And then I bring the tank back up to volume with RO water that I've remineralized with salty shrimp GH plus to a TDS of roughly 100. I found this works well for me, and the shrimp are breeding in this tank now even though it has CO2 added to it. I then add 3 pumps of Tropica Premium Nutrition or Premium Fertilizer. This is more than is recommended by Tropica, but it doesn't contain any nitrogen or phosphorus, so the shrimp are fine and the plants can handle it. And then finally, I had a little pinch of Bacteria E. This is for the shrimp. It makes biofilm. It's like a yeast product. The shrimp go nuts for it, so I add it after every water change. Now usually I would trim the hair grass after all of this, but I'll save that for another day. If I trimmed everything at once, I may not be able to handle all the waste that's been added by my fish, so keeping this large amount of hair grass healthy and sucking up the nutrients will help stabilize my tank further, and I'll trim it in the next week or two when all my stems have kind of regrown their root systems and are growing healthier again. So that pretty much wraps things up. You don't have to do much to maintain a healthy planted tank, but there is a couple little things you should take into account, especially when you're dealing with lots of stem plants, to keep the tank healthy. I hope you guys learned something new and found this little video useful. Make sure to leave a like and let me know what you guys would like to see more of down below in the comments. But anyways, this was Calum's Fish Tanks. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.